This is the stadium chosen to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup final, MetLife Stadium, just outside New York City in New Jersey. The stage for one of the most watched events on the planet, more than 1 billion people following the same match. But here's something almost nobody tells you about the final venue. Shortly before the tournament, in May 2026, it earned the most widely used green building certification in the world, LEED, at the gold level. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what makes the NFL's biggest stadium a green building, what it changed for this World Cup, and one honest contradiction nobody in the organization likes to talk about. When FIFA selected 16 stadiums for the 2026 World Cup, the U.S. Green Building Council, the organization behind LEED, made a quiet move. It encouraged every host venue to pursue the green certification. By the time the tournament opened, 13 of those 16 stadiums had already earned LEED certification. Together, they installed more than 11,500 solar panels and will save over 100 million gallons of drinking water a year. And the stadium hosting the single most important match of all, the final, made that list. Not with the top grade, I'll be honest with you, but with a story worth understanding. If you like discovering how the world's biggest builds work on the inside, subscribe to the channel. We break down a building like this in every video. Let's understand who we're talking about. MetLife Stadium sits in East Rutherford, New Jersey, just a few miles from Manhattan. It opened in 2010, and at the time, it was the most expensive stadium ever built in the United States, about $1.6 billion. With 82,500 seats, it's the largest stadium in the NFL, and it has a unique trait. It's the only stadium in the league that's home to two rival teams at the same time, the New York Giants and the New York Jets. And here's an important point. MetLife didn't just go green now for the World Cup. It was built with that in mind. The stadium replaced the old Giants Stadium, which stood right next door. And even though it's twice the size of the old one, MetLife was designed to use about 30% less energy and 25% less water than the stadium it replaced, and to cut waste significantly. A stadium's biggest source of pollution often isn't the building, it's the cars bringing everyone there. MetLife solved part of that at the source. A new J-Transit rail spur was built to connect the stadium directly to New York, a ride of about 25 minutes from Manhattan. Thousands of fans arrive by train for every event. That's thousands of cars off the road every single game. Stadium sustainability is much more about how people get there than about the roof. And there's more. MetLife runs a heavy recycling program that sorts, after every game, what's recyclable, what's compostable, and what's trash. And in 2021, it became the first NFL stadium to join the UN's Climate Action Framework for sport. So if the stadium was already efficient, what was missing for the LEED seal? LEED doesn't reward good intentions. It measures real operations, energy use, water use, waste management, indoor air quality. You have to prove with data that the building performs well day to day. To reach gold in 2026, MetLife focused on 4 fronts: solar energy, efficient lighting, a fleet of hybrid and electric vehicles in operations, and diverting waste from landfills. The stadium's president and CEO, Ron Van de Veen, summed up the logic in one line. The certification shows that a premium guest experience and rigorous green building practices can go hand in hand. And here's the honesty this channel always brings. MetLife is gold, not platinum. Remember the 60-year-old Estadio Azteca that reached platinum? MetLife, newer and far more expensive, landed one step below. Gold is a serious certification that's hard to earn, but it's not the top. And telling you that straight is part of the story. And now the most uncomfortable detail of all. Even with 13 certified stadiums, solar panels, trains, and recycling, this will likely be the most polluting World Cup in history. The reason isn't in the buildings, it's in the sky. For the first time, the World Cup has 48 teams spread across 3 countries and an entire continent, from the United States to Mexico to Canada. That means an enormous amount of air travel by fans and teams crisscrossing North America. One study estimates more than 9 million tons of carbon dioxide, the equivalent of millions of cars driven for a full year. That's exactly why FIFA emphasizes using existing stadiums instead of building from scratch. Building a new stadium creates a mountain of carbon. Renovating and certifying what's already standing avoids a big chunk of it. So MetLife's LED Gold isn't a fix for everything. It's the part you can control, the building. The rest, transport, logistics, the sheer scale of the event, is still the real challenge. And acknowledging that is what separates information from a press release. So when you watch the final of this World Cup, there's a layer to the story that goes beyond the game. MetLife Stadium is the NFL's biggest stadium, home to two rivals, host of a Super Bowl, and now the World Cup final. It cost $1.6 billion. It wears a crown of 1,350 solar panels. And since May 2026, it's LED Gold. It's not the greenest stadium in the world, but it might be the most watched stage on the planet to carry a green seal. And at an event this size, every step counts. If you want to keep discovering how the world's greatest stadiums and buildings work on the inside, hit like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, which other World Cup stadium do you want to see on the channel? See you next episode.